Good evening, everyone, and welcome to Let's Talk Grief. I am your host, Lakecia Lockeridge, and this is the City of Hearts where we deep dive into real conversations. We explore raw emotions and we touch on our resilience and we talk about our overcoming. Tonight, I have a special guest for y'all. This is my auntie, though. These are my aunties, and these are special guests for y'all. Tonight, I have visionary author Danny Dubois and Auntie Says. That's all y'all need to know, okay? So, tonight we're going to touch on and talk about their new project called Echoes of Affection, Human Tales of Human Connections. I'm gonna get it right, y'all. But look, this topic and this show is one you don't want to miss. So sit back, relax, and let's get in this with my auntie Danny.
Hey, hi
Hey,
everybody.
hey,
How we doing tonight? How we
good. How
doing
you
tonight?
doing?
Oh my God, God
Yes.
is
Hey, Auntie
amazing.
says.
Hi, baby. How are you?
God is
I'm
amazing. That's
good.
all I'm gonna say. Thank you so much for having
Yes.
us. I'm trying to get this camera together, but she wanna act
Yeah.
real strange, but the devil is a liar. Hi,
Oh
yeah.
yes.
Come on now. Come on now. We already know. Um, Thank you for having us. We really appreciate you, Nisi Poo. You know, I am so
Absolutely.
grateful for the time that God will pick us to now to have you a part of our life and part of any
Hmm.
projects that we've done. And I'm just so grateful for this platform and the ability to come on and talk about the importance of a human connection. And the name of the book is
Yes.
Echoes of Affection, Tales
Sounds
of
all about.
a Human Connection.
That's right. Get me together, Auntie. Get me
And I'm gonna get
together.
you
I
together,
was
girl. I'm
like,
gonna
I
get
don't
you
know.
together. Mm-hmm.
But the topic itself is so evocative. It was like, man, it just grabbed you. Like, okay, what we doing
Mm-hmm.
with this?
Hmm.
Like,
Yeah.
I
Right.
want to know
Yeah.
more. So I'm
Right.
excited to know more tonight, and I'm excited for the world to know more because I know, first of all, I was touched by my auntie Dan. First of all, gotta give it to
Hmm.
her, but
Thank
I
you.
also got to shout out my twin
Mm-hmm.
Shamika Moore. So
Absolutely.
I'm excited to yes. And then
And I understand that you're gonna have
man,
some of our other authors on next week, right? This is part one.
I am. This is part one. This is
I
part
love it.
one. So
I
I'm
love it.
excited
Awesome.
about that. But I
Hmm.
definitely have some questions. I'm all about the questions. But first and foremost, before we dive into the book, I want both of y'all to share a little about yourselves and your journey of becoming authors, but individually and as a couple. Yes.
You first. Ladies first.
The
Come
journey,
on, T.
as far as the
Who are
human.
you?
I'm sorry. I am Kathy, aka Sassy, Danny's wife. Our journey started about 8 years ago. 10 years. No. Wait a
Coming up
minute.
on 10 years.
Coming up on 10 years. Okay, 8 years. Coming up on 8 years married. So that's where the eight come in. And I'm new to. I call myself a baby author because this was the first. Of course, I was a little
Apprehensive.
apprehensive, nervous, scared, didn't know what to do, and I just started writing. Because I'd never done this before, and once I started, it just started coming to me. And it was about our journey and the connection that we have and had made, which started out spiritually and just generally as a
Yeah.
friend, looking for a friendship that could help me pull me from the place I was in, which was a little dark,
Yeah,
but that little
yeah.
that's a little tad bit of what's in the book. And the journey
Yes.
continues, thanks to my wife, the author,
Yes.
Danny. This is the real author. Like I said, I'm the baby author. and,
No,
and
we taking that baby title off tonight.
Think I might have put
You
on to
are
something
now
here.
seasoned.
yeah, yeah, I'll
Yes.
take that. I'll take that. Mm-hmm.
Yes, you now
And
seasoned.
because
But you enjoyed the journey.
yes, absolutely, absolutely. Huh?
No, I was just saying, we got a makeshift camera here, so
Oh,
stay
okay.
stay in the camera,
Stay in the
girl. Stay in the
camera.
camera.
Look,
We stupid, but we are, but we love each other. We just the
Yeah.
way we are. No fool,
Mm-hmm.
no fun.
yes.
I am author Danny. I am an author. I am a chef by trade. I am a deacon ordained. I can marry you and I can bury you. I just can't commit you to the ground. Um, and how I got into authorship was I've always been a writer. I just never honed in on it until a few years ago after moving from one state to another to
Mm-hmm.
for work and in our profession. We
Mm-hmm.
both work in food industry. She's a baker, I'm a chef,
Mm,
a cook, and we moved. And 90 days later, my back imploded and I couldn't work. And I had been trying to get my book. I had been trying to write a memoir for about 18 years at that point. And God
mhm.
made it. See, God will put something in front of you. See, people out there don't understand. He got to put something in
Mm-hmm.
front of you to make you think you about to lose your mind. It's the end of the world. Oh Lord, I'm coming to you, Elizabeth. That's the big one. And he just wants you to wake up and see something. And what it was
Yes.
he wanted me to write. He wanted me to get the story out there, and that's a whole nother book and a whole nother time. However, it ties into how we came to this point
Mm-hmm.
in our life. And there's nothing but big things happening since that first book, and this is book number 3. Getting ready to release book number 4 within a couple of months, within about 6 to 8 weeks.
Yes, I love it. So I know you see me over here in the background doing something. And that's because over here we real and authentic. So I'm over here making sure that your people can see this video. So that's what I'm over here doing.
Well, thank you so much. Because
Yes,
That's what I'm over
awesome.
here
people were saying,
doing.
"Where can we tune in?" I'm like,
Yeah, look, we ain't gonna
my
leave
page,
y'all
your
out. We gonna
page.
make sure your people can tune in. So yes, I love it. I love y'all together. Y'all just don't know that. I really do. I love
Aw,
y'all together. It's a beautiful thing. Love is beautiful.
it
But
is.
Period.
It is.
How do young people
it
say
is.
period?
Period.
Period.
Yes. So I just love it. So 18, what inspired the creation of the echoes of affection, the tales of human connection? Like, what was the inspiration behind it?
Okay, well, two things. After I wrote Pretty Little Bastard Child, I needed a break because that's a deep, very deep emotional book. It took me
Mhm.
back to places where like I had to go back to therapy for a little while. It opened up a can of worms with family members, that weren't really, whatever. Um and what I was
Oh
going
yeah.
to do right after that book was write a book about love. That's what I wanted to write a book about. And then
Mhm.
life started lifing because of
Mhm.
Pretty Little Bastard Child and a whirlwind. I was all over, up and down the East Coast, down in Atlanta, doing book launches here, doing this there, doing that. Books just kept going. People were calling me to speak, interviews were happening. And then I went back to work. So it was like, trying to find the time. And I ain't no young whippersnapper, honey. So it's like trying to find the time to do all of this stuff was like, wait, but I needed a break from the emotional baggage that came back to light with Pretty Little Bastard Child. So what I
Mhm.
did was I put the book of love, and at that time it wasn't the right time for everybody. Everybody had something to do that was supposed to commit, that didn't commit, wouldn't commit. So I was like, you know what? I'm gonna shelf this for a minute. Move forward about 6 months. Our my other niece, your twin,
Mhm.
Dr. Esmery Moore, I saw her put up a post about, anthologies that she wanted to work on. And in there, I saw Echoes of Affection.
Mhm.
I said, wait a minute,
Mm.
let me holler. Because, then we did Love Language of Grief.
Mhm.
So I said, let me
Mm-hmm.
holler and see what she's trying to do with this book, because baby knew that I was, and you knew because I had mentioned it to you, that I wanted to do a book about love to lighten up my
Absolutely.
spirit a little bit. And so I was like, yo, why
Yes.
don't we collab on this, and let's do
Mhm.
it together. She's like, you know what? Bet, let's do it. So from that point forward, Love Language was moving and grooving, doing this thing. I'm out, I'm a hustler, as my hat says. I'm a hustle to my haters, ask if I'm
Yeah.
hiring. you know um
I
so I was
see.
like, let's jump on it. So the next thing was getting people together. We put out a author call, and we lost a few, we gained a few more, and
Mhm.
moving right on, here we are.
Mhm.
And
That's
it
a
was
part
right
of
on
the
time.
journey. You know that.
Absolutely.
It's right on time. But what I love about anthologies that we, of course, we've learned from working on together, you know, you win some, you lose some, but the ones
Mhm.
who are there for the divine connection, who are in alignment, will be there throughout the journey. So that's the
Period.
beautiful thing
Absolutely.
about anthologies,
Hmm.
because you
Hmm.
start with many,
Right.
but you always end with the quality over the quantity.
Yeah,
And I
Mm.
that's the
love it.
blessing.
That's what
Mhm.
I love about anthology.
That's the blessing. And
Yes.
let me just say this
Yes.
to you before we move on. I know you have a list of things you want to ask us, right? I'm so grateful
Of
for Love
course.
Language of Grief, because without Love Language of Grief, there would be no you, and there would be no Dr. S. Marie Moore in my life. And I
Mhm.
love you two ladies like family. And that
Absolutely.
came out
We
of
love
an anthology, that came out of us, being divinely connected.
Connected. Yeah.
And
mhm.
people just don't understand divinity. Look, I don't care what man say, when it's meant for
Mm.
people to be in your life, they will outstand the test of time. And the other people that try to shun them people out of your life
Mhm.
will leave your life
Mhm.
first.
Mhm. True indeed.
Talk about it. Talk
Mhm.
about it.
Come on now.
So the so Auntie says,
Uh-huh.
I want to talk about. I got a question for you.
Okay.
So within your journey, I know that you said that once you started to write, it flowed for you. So
Mhm.
talk about your experience. Like for instance, with Danny, we both have written memoirs, and both of our memoirs were it brought back a lot. It triggered us. Um,
Mhm.
and it was some more healing that we needed to do, and some more things we needed to get out in the midst of that. But I want to know from your journey of being a
Mhm.
first time author, what were those feelings that were invoked while you were writing it? I know yours was sort of different from us because it was on a love
Right.
aspect,
Uh-huh.
versus we talked more about our triggers and the things that we had been through with trauma. But
Mhm.
I still want to know what your feelings were throughout the process. What was the journey like for you throughout that process?
Well, actually, me writing my part, it did bring up some darkness that I had been in, you know. So it was sort of a healing, because until I started writing, I didn't realize I had went through this journey of darkness, and I made it through to the other side, you know.
Mm,
And it brought that light onto me, that although I felt in my heart that, okay, I'm good, I made it through, but when you write, it makes you think, and it takes you back to a place to where, wow, I was really there, you know. And to see where I am now is the part of the journey. And with that connection of with Danny is what helped me actually uh through that, and brought me past it. And it's so funny because it wasn't out of anything other than you know how you have something going on and you have people, you have friends, you have family, but you want to express it to somebody who know nothing about you to get an honest feeling from, and to, how can I say, not normalize, but have no opinion about anything.
Right.
You
Somebody
know,
that don't know you.
so
Somebody don't know
somebody who
the
don't know
situation.
nothing or anything like
Yeah.
that.
So you get a true
So you
opinion.
can get a true opinion, a true conversation, a true feeling,
Mm-hmm.
and it was a point to let me know that, I'm better than that. I deserve better than that, you know. And I knew that,
Yes.
but we have our slips and falls, But like God said, the slip and the fall is not the part. The part is getting back up,
Come on now.
And that was my journey, getting back up and realizing and knowing, going back to knowing who I am, and what I deserve. And so writing, it brought me through those little ebb and flows of, like, wow, but then at the end of it and through it, it's the joy. It was the joy, that really touched me and everything like that.
I
Mm-hmm.
love it. Now, guess what? With that question, we just took that title, baby author, off with you.
Damn. Damn. There she go. There she go. Mess around. We're
That
gonna be
is
writing
now,
book after book up in here.
yes, because that process alone, until you experience it,
Uh-huh.
man, it's a phenomenal process. Writing,
Yeah,
people say, "Oh, you wrote a book." Man, you don't know what the God gets the glory through that, first
that's
of all,
right.
because you
Yep.
are,
Absolutely.
woo, baby, that's a process. That's a
That
journey.
is.
And you
Yes.
have experienced that. So now you are a seasoned author, no longer a
Author.
baby author. Thank you.
I'll take that.
Wait, wait,
Thank
wait.
you.
And her legacy will live on. She is fully published. Ah,
She's fully published.
Yes.
Period.
Period.
there you
I
go. That's
love
there
it.
right
I
there.
love it.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. So you guys have worked with some more people on this project. So the anthology centers on relationships and human connections. What common thread or emotional truths did you notice across the stories, throughout the stories of, not just your story, but the other authors as well?
Well, the one thing that we all had in common was the need for a connection.
Mm-hmm.
We go through a lot of us also take you through the time of the disconnection of COVID and how we got through that
Mm-hmm.
and how and I think one of the things that stood out the most to me being the visionary is when we have our weekly meetings and people say, well, I'm stuck, I don't know what to write, and is this enough, and da 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 da, and I'm like, okay, so take us through COVID, take us through how
Yeah.
your first argument, take us through the things that were good, the things that weren't so good. Take us through all of that. And the common thread is that you put God first and you realize that not one man is put here as an island.
Mm-hmm.
And no man is meant to be alone, and I don't mean because there aren't just married couples in our book. We have friendships, we have,
Yeah.
cousins, stuff like that. So, you know, um, you know,
Don't give them all the tea now. They
no,
got to go
no, they
by the
got to
book.
go by the book. Oh yeah, you
Oh
got to buy
yes.
the
Oh
book, baby,
yes.
by the book. But yeah, the common thread is God.
Yes.
Yes.
And the fact that it's about a connection. And without a connection, you can't have anything.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yes. I love that. I love the fact that it didn't just touch on one aspect of a connection or one aspect of a
No,
relationship, but
definitely
Yes.
it
not.
was a
Yes.
collective of,
Yes.
man, that's phenomenal. That is
Mm-hmm.
phenomenal.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So can each one of you tell me something about the story you contributed to the book and why it was important that you shared? So I know Auntie Saston already kind of touched on that a little
Mm-hmm.
bit, but I want to hear from Danny's perspective about your individual writing in the book.
Mm-hmm.
Well, as you know, I take you through a little twist and turn. However, wherever I write, whatever I write, there's always a little like, wait a
Yes.
minute, is she? Is what? Um, the importance of what I put in this book was bringing light. Well, let me just, I don't pull no punches. We are the only gay couple in the book. We are married,
Okay.
legally married. Um, and it was important to pull the wool back on the fact that people look at gay couples as lascivious. They look at
Mm-hmm.
gay couples as just partying, bumping and humping and shacking and all of that stuff. And like that's not true. My wife and I are coming up on 8 years married. We go through the same thing that straight couples go through. We go through the same thing that
Mm-hmm.
anybody else who strives to have affection or that strives to have attention or that strives to have that companionship that could be there for till the test of time. We go through the same thing
Mm-hmm.
as every other couple goes through. I gotta shift this around a little bit. So with
That's
that being said, it was important to touch on that. It was important to bring to
absolutely.
light some of the fallacies
Mm-hmm.
or untruths that people put on same gender loving couples. And if
Yeah.
you are holy roller out there preaching, hell and damnation, then maybe this ain't the damn book for you. And
Mm-hmm.
that's okay because somebody out there needs to know because they have a gay child that's coming out or they have a family member that they've shut out from somewhere that they need to take in, especially now because the world is against us for everything and
Mm-hmm.
reasons they don't know. People fear what they don't know. So that's why it was kind of
Absolutely.
important to,
Yes.
put a light on the fact that human connection is the point. It's not about sex. It's not about love and affection. You can't have affection. Anybody. You can't have a affection without connection.
Mm-hmm.
And it doesn't
Mm-hmm.
always have to end in a sexual connection.
Right.
We're
Yeah.
women of a certain age.
Mm-hmm.
We're in menopause. I mean, we touch on a lot of different stuff in this book.
Yes.
Yes.
I
And it was
love
just
it. I
important. It was
love
just
it.
very important. So
Yes, but you highlighted some very important and valuable things, like touching on just connection, period.
Mm-hmm.
People do fear what
what they
they
don't know.
don't
What they
understand, what
don't.
they
That is
don't know,
true.
you
Mhm,
Yes.
know.
mhm.
Yes.
And this book is about having an open mind, and a lot of people are not open-minded.
Facts.
Um
Mm-hmm.
let's just be real about it. A lot of people ain't open-minded, but I love the openness about
Mm-hmm.
this book. I just love it because I'm an open-minded person. Like that, we ain't got to talk about that because they know. But I just love how open and transparent and authentic each one of the stories are. Um,
Mm-hmm.
how did sharing your stories impact your relationship or understanding of one another? Because once that book was printed and
That's
y'all
it.
saw them chapters, and it may have been some things released that, hey, I didn't know this about Bay, or Bay, really? Or, oh, Bay, I want to know the tea. Give me the tea.
I'm gonna give you the tea, girl. I'm gonna give you the tea. Um, I really didn't know that there were that. No, I can't say that. I can't say that because a lot of times people will tell us all the time when y'all are together, the way y'all look at each other is just so adorable. And I'm like, what are they
Yeah.
talking about? Right?
Mm-hmm.
We don't see it like that. We just some days I might have just cussed her out. We don't cuss each other out. We don't do stuff like that.
For sure.
But I mean, we agree to disagree. But
Yes.
I think the biggest part for me was like, babe, I didn't know you felt like that in a good way.
Mm-hmm.
we are so transparent with each other, and we talk about everything, right? Yeah, we talk about everything. So it's like I didn't ask her what she was writing. I didn't want to know, and I didn't tell her what I was writing.
Mm-hmm.
And I
Mm-hmm.
didn't want her to know until after it was done. And then after it was done, that's when we shared our stories with each other, you know. And I don't know about her. I can't speak for her, but it was nothing of a surprise for me. Was it a surprise?
No, not that it was a surprise, but the part that really like kind of stuck out also to me was when I wrote in about COVID,
Mm,
because we were kind of stuck.
right.
We ain't had no choice but
Right.
to be in here together.
Yeah.
Right. Right.
Oh
So
yeah.
Oh
yeah.
boy. Ooh.
So and amazingly, it wasn't bad at all.
And
Like
at that time we were in a 1 bedroom apartment.
right,
We
like
were
we
in a one
didn't
bedroom
mind
apartment.
each other's company, and even we needed that little bit of a separation. Either she or I would go into the living room and we'd be in the bedroom watching two different things. But you know how sometimes when you with a person and like when you feel stuck because you can't go out,
Mhm.
and that's what COVID did. We
Yeah.
was we were stuck
Oh
together,
yeah.
and surprisingly,
Oh yeah.
yeah, it did. I think it kind of brought us closer together
Yeah. I got sick.
because
I got very sick.
yeah.
In the midst of COVID, I got very sick, and I was so afraid for her
Hmm.
because I was home,
Right.
right? I wasn't working. I had gotten sick in another way. My back had went out, but she was going out every day back and forth to work, and somehow I came down with COVID, and that was during the first part of COVID that we didn't have any information, and I was
Hmm.
just seeing people that I knew with COVID dying and
Yeah.
being isolated
Yeah.
off in hospitals and stuff like that. It was in the early part of like 2020 when I got COVID. No, later in 2020 when I got COVID, but it was
Yeah.
that first year before there
Hmm.
was a vaccine or anything. And I was so afraid
Mm.
on how I was going to tell her, babe, they just contacted me and said I have COVID, because she had went to
Hmm.
work and I was home freaking out because they called me and they're like, hey, look,
Hmm.
who have
Mm.
you been in contact with in the last couple of weeks? You are positive for COVID. And I was like, what? Wait, me? You sure? And I was just scared.
Mm-hmm.
But
You.
that's the roughest part. And we take you through
Yeah.
that part. Some of
Yeah.
that is in the book. So.
Yeah. Hmm.
COVID did a number on all of us.
Oh
Mhm.
But I
yes.
remember
Oh
Mhm.
having them
yes.
same fears and franticness.
Yes.
And even just being in the house, like Auntie said, just being in the house with my children and my grandfather, and I'm like, I can't go nowhere. Like that was a
Crazy.
Hmm.
lot.
It
But
was crazy.
It was.
It
It
was crazy. And
was.
then the
It,
misinformation and the fear and the trying to be strong and the
yes.
keeping people away and no, 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 you can't come.
hmm.
No, I'm
Hmm.
good. Nah, drop it at the
Mm-mm.
door,
Yeah.
spraying your grocery bags and
Yes.
leaving them out. Oh my God.
That
It
was
was,
the
ooh,
like I
But
don't know. It was
it
like we was
also
in a
was a
twilight
moment
zone.
of it
Uh-huh.
was, but it also
Hmm.
was a moment of reflection, a
yes,
Yes.
moment of elevation, a
yes,
moment
yes.
of just reconnection,
Hmm.
Uh-huh.
with yourself,
Hmm.
Uh-huh.
because we
Yes.
all were walking around just living life day by day, the same routine, same
Hmm.
norm,
Yeah.
and it brought that human connection
Yeah.
forth.
Yeah.
So, yes,
Absolutely.
look, man, I love it. I really, really love it. So, of course, we're not gonna make it through all of the questions, but this show is called Let's Talk Grief, and I have to. Well, I don't have to, but I choose to
Go
because
ahead.
grief, of course, is something that's near and dear to my heart.
Hmm.
Being a grief coach and working on some more things. We'll talk about that off the camera. But
Hmm.
how do you think the connection plays in the role of how we process grief, love, and healing, because I did anyone talk about any other type of grief outside of um well, I'm sure grief was discussed in this book. You can't tell your
Very
story
little.
without talking about your grief.
Very little. I mean, it was, but it wasn't a focal point because the
Mhm.
focal point was the connection.
Right.
The focal
The
point was,
connection.
yeah,
Mhm.
and I believe I can't tell their story, but I believe when you have
No part two.
part part two, they'll tell their story on the people that made them realize the connections that they had or didn't have with other people in their life because of grief, and the things that
Mhm.
that were learned because of grief. The one thing I do know is um when I lost my mom, right?
Mhm.
um and I lost my mom 30 years ago. What's this? 20 this is
29.
25. I lost
Mhm.
my mom in 1992, but I had just gotten my life back. And the one
Mhm.
thing that I realized when I started losing family members, well, I didn't lose too many family members, but I lost, very close people to me, during COVID. And I lost, my last living, matriarch of the family right before COVID, right? And the
Mhm.
one thing that having sass in my life got me, or taught me or shown me, is that even with the connection, without her here, I don't think I would have healed the way that I've been healing. It's been a steady course. It's been a process. And sometimes she can't reach
Mhm.
me on certain processes, but I'm just grateful that she's here to make the process a little less daunting. Um,
Yeah.
she's lost a couple of people in her family since we've been, together. And I was glad that I was the shoulder to cry
Yes.
on, and was able to be there because it's important, even through the healing process of not only grief but trauma. It's important to
Mhm.
have love. It's important to have um freedom, the ability for someone to say, all right, I'm gonna let you be there today,
Mhm.
but tomorrow we getting the hell up out of that. You're not staying up in that. Come on, we going for a
Mhm.
ride. We going to do something, because depression is a lonely place. And when you're grieving and when you are in need of healing, it could be a very lonely, very ugly, very dark place without somebody there to
Mhm.
say, okay, look, I love you enough to give you your space.
Mhm.
And I'm going to give you your space
Mhm.
for a moment. I'm going to sit and just listen. I'm
Mhm.
not going to say nothing for a moment. But
Mhm.
eventually, I see you from the outside and I'm looking in. So I'm going to need you to get,
Yeah.
come on.
Mhm. Mhm.
Yes, and thank you for answering the question in the way that I wanted to. I was trying to articulate the question because I wanted to focus on the importance of how much support and connection is needed throughout that process of
Hmm.
not just
Mhm.
grief, but love and healing in
Yeah.
its whole. Because, like you
Mhm.
said, and you made a very good point. It's one thing for me to feel that way, but then also for someone to see it from the outside, that external look,
Right.
and
Right.
Right.
they can see something that I can't see. So it's
Yeah.
Right.
important to have that person say, I'm giving you your space to feel what you're feeling. Your feelings are valid,
Yes.
but this is how we're going to overcome this. This is, we need a resolution. We can't
Yes.
stay there.
Mhm.
Yes.
You
Yeah.
know,
Mhm.
we
Yeah.
can't stay
Mhm.
there. So
Mhm.
I love
Yeah.
that you touched on that. I knew you was gonna get it. You can read my mind.
That's why you my niece, baby.
Yes, yes. I just love
Mhm.
talking to y'all so much. So this question is for y'all as a couple. How do
Mhm.
you personally hold a space? Um, being like, I'm gonna go back to this one bedroom.
Mm.
Look how He looked at me. But how do you personally hold that space um with each other when it's necessary? Like, can you walk us through a day with Sass in a challenging day with Sass and Danny? And how do you guys coexist with that? Because I think it's important. You don't have to give like full details, but I think it's
Mhm.
important for us not to only continue to tell people about certain situations, but it's time for us to start modeling it, because a lot
Right.
of people will understand and receive what we're saying, but they're stuck on how to take the next step. So
Okay.
I'm all about modeling now. You get what I'm
Mm-hmm.
saying?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
just wanna just dive into just a challenging day with Danny and Sass, and how you allow that love and space for each other to overcome.
Mhm.
Basically.
Mhm.
You want to take
Auntie
that?
Danny, you grabbed it, didn't
Um, we don't have a lot of challenging days.
Yeah, that's why I'm like,
You know, it's kind of hard for us. Like, okay, like for instance, right? This one here is my right hand, and literally, this is my right. Even on days when I don't like her, I need my right hand because I'm right-handed, right? Like we've opened up
mm-hmm.
restaurants together, and she'll go to work at our regular job and be tired as all get out, leave the job, go home, change, and come down to the restaurant and help me. You know, like I mean, I'm talking about things where when I think of like, okay, is there somebody better out there? Probably. Better than me? Probably. Cuter than me? Probably. Richer than me? Probably. But will they treat you the same?
mhm.
You know, that's what I think about when I think about, like, you know, yeah, some days I want to choke her. You know what I'm saying? Because she's stubborn. She's an Aries. You know, a lot of times we not a lot, because let me take that out of the equation. On times we have agreed to disagree.
Disagree. Yes. Mhm.
Like we work different hours, right? So even now it's like, you know, because we're not in the one bedroom anymore, thank God. We're
Mhm.
we have a much bigger place and we have a guest room. So on nights when I have to
Mm-hmm.
get up maybe an hour and a half after her, I don't like the fact that when she gets up, she breaks my sleep. And sometimes I can't go back to sleep, right?
Mhm.
So I go
Mhm.
sleep in the guest room. That
Mhm.
doesn't mean I don't, that doesn't mean we beefing. That doesn't mean I don't care. That doesn't mean that I don't miss you. That doesn't mean none of that. It just means that, babe, I'm setting a boundary for myself. I
Mhm.
am not good when I don't sleep. Okay. Our
Mm-hmm.
jobs in the kitchen, we work in a very large, very active place, and we work hard. Okay.
Yes, indeed.
So if you break my sleep and now I've been up all night, but I don't have to be to work. She had to be to work at 3. I got to be to work at 6. I don't want to get up when she gets up at 1:15. You know
Mhm.
what I'm saying? So the average person be like, nah, why you gotta sleep in there? And I sleep in another bedroom almost every night, you know, except for nights when either she's off or nights when I'm off.
Mhm.
Um, because
Mm-hmm.
of that situation. In the beginning, it
Mm-hmm.
was kind of rough because we were used to being in a one
In the
bedroom
one,
and
right.
being, you know, in one space at all time. But now we don't have that issue and we don't have to have that issue. So why not? That's part of self-care. If I
Mhm.
realized it was making me, you know, crazy, you know, wait a minute, babe, we gonna have to figure this out. You know, because it's not you, it's me. I have to set the boundary that I need my proper rest. And when I don't get my rest, I feel a certain way. She's not gonna feel it because her body's used to getting up that time every day.
Mhm.
And when she gets off, she can come home and take a nap, right? Until I get off. I get off 3 hours later than her. So she can go home, take a
Yeah.
shower, go to bed, do her hair, go shopping if she want to. And then I'm coming home and I'm looking at her like, I want to punch you in the throat. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm tired. Now I have no energy to do nothing. And again, I'm a
Yeah.
writer. I have things going on outside of my regular, you know, full-time job. You know, I'm setting up, you know, TV shows. I'm doing all kinds of other stuff outside that I
Mhm.
I need energy to be able to do. So that was a hurdle, but it wasn't a big hurdle. It was like, yo, this is what I need to do,
Mhm.
babe. Are you okay with this?
And that, but as you get older and mature, it's about respecting each other's boundaries.
Hmm.
You know, and
Yes.
because
Yes.
and when I get up at 1:15 in the morning, I don't want to have to tiptoe around, and stuff like that because she's still sleeping, and I'm trying not
Mhm.
to break her sleep. So it
Mhm.
actually works out both better for both of us.
Yeah.
And the first couple of
Mhm.
times I was like, you know, I'm like,
Mhm.
this don't feel right. But then when you think
Right.
about it, it's about respecting each other,
Mhm.
and giving each other what
Yes.
you need, what she need, what
Yes.
I need, and it became easier to process that, like, this is what we need for each other, because again, we're women of a certain age, you know and
Yes.
I don't require a lot of sleep, but when I go to sleep, I want to sleep,
Right.
and when I
Mhm.
get up without a problem because I've been doing this for years, you know, and like I said, I don't want to be selfish and be, just turning on lights and blah, 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 and making noise. And if she's in the bedroom, you know, but then the day she's off or
Yes.
I'm off, it's okay because I know she can go back to sleep if I do break her sleep, and it kind of, how they say,
Yes.
absence makes the heart grow fonder. So it
Profound.
it kind
Yeah.
of put a little of that in there
Yeah.
too,
Yeah.
because
It
they'll be
makes you
like,
Like, yeah,
appreciate
we
it. Yeah.
open our
yeah,
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
exactly,
Yeah.
exactly, exactly,
And I think
yes, yes,
too, what it does is it makes you appreciate each other when you do have that special time, when you do have that date night. It makes you more inept and more aware of when you haven't done a date night, or
hmm
when you haven't brought home. Well, but we have a special occasion every month that we
every month
celebrate. So
before.
but we ain't gonna tell them. They gotta get the book.
They gotta get the book.
They gotta get the book. Niece
I
already knows
love
about
it.
it because I already told her, but they gotta get the
Yeah.
book.
Yes, but they gotta get the book. But,
That's it.
thank
Mhm.
you for modeling.
Hmm.
Exactly. Thank you for modeling and, explaining how you guys work and navigated through that, because
Hmm.
Yes.
society has this thing of capping everybody off of, well, what works for me might not work for you. What works for
Yeah.
you may not work for me. But I you guys found what worked for you. The
Right.
Uh-huh.
connection is
Right.
magical. Now,
Right.
Yes.
I got a couple of things that I want to do before we wrap up. First, I want to talk about this book cover, because I just feel like the title and the book cover came together so well.
Yes. Yes.
Because and speaking back, yes, speaking back on what we were just talking about, the connection, but the
Yes.
magic in the connection. I just
Uh-huh.
Hmm.
think it came
Uh-huh.
together so well. It really
Yes.
It
did.
did.
Yes,
It
it
Um,
did.
did.
It did. That book cover is fire.
yes.
It
And
is.
everybody that sees the book,
It
like
is.
I've already been selling books. I'm like, yo, because
Mhm.
I'm a hustler. Yeah, Danny, your new book is out. Oh my God.
We
Where can
know.
I get it? Right here, right here. I got it. So everybody that sees the book,
Yes.
though, the cover, they're like, oh my God, that is so
Mhm.
dope. And I'm like,
Mhm.
yeah, I got to give it up to my niecey poo. You know, the one right on the other end of this camera.
Yeah.
You know, but see,
Now you
I'm
haven't
gonna tell
even
you something.
said them.
I'm gonna tell you something. I'm gonna give you. I'm gonna throw your flowers at you while you can smell them. Right. Once you did the cover for my second book that has not come out yet. Well, my fourth book that has not
Mhm.
come out yet. I wasn't going to
Yes.
accept anybody else doing this cover but you.
Mhm.
Seriously.
Mhm.
Oh. Look, and I wasn't gonna even tell them I did the cover, but I just wanted to, the name
No,
of the
no, they
title of
need
the book.
no. If you need a
Is,
book cover
is
done, this is who you need to see. You need to call my niece, Lakecia
right
Lockeridge.
there.
That one right there. I said it. I don't give a dang.
That's right.
But
That's
thank
right.
you. Thank you
Toot your
so
horn, baby.
much. So
You deserve it.
yes, I gotta do more of that, Auntie. For sure,
Yeah,
for
Uh-huh.
sure. I
yeah,
gotta do more of
yeah.
that.
Confidence, baby. Be
But
confident.
I
If
love,
you don't believe in you, who's gonna believe
yes.
in you? Huh? You better
Talk.
speak
Look,
on. Somebody just
look. My
commented.
sister
What did
out
they
here.
say?
Right.
My sister. My sister out here talking about right.
Okay, you better ask somebody, baby. Huh.
That's right. Yes. Yes.
Yes. So
Mm-hmm.
I love before we end the show for the night, I'd love to allow you both the space to give your flowers to someone
Mhm.
while they're still here. I believe in giving flowers while they're still here. So I'd like to remove myself from the screen, if you don't mind, and allow you guys the space to give your flowers to someone while they're still
Mm-hmm.
here. This is Let's Talk Grief, and grief. Let me just say this as a disclaimer. People, when they think of grief, they automatically think of death and crying. That's
Right.
not
Right.
that's not the
Right.
end all be all for grief. So don't take that as what I'm saying, but it's important to give people their flowers while they're still here to be able to smell them. So take
That's
your
right.
time,
That's
Auntie,
right.
and I'm gonna go.
Yeah.
Okay. Who you want to give the flowers to, babe?
You know what? I want to give my flowers. I want to give flowers to two people.
Okay.
Okay. First and foremost, I want to give them to you.
Oh.
Yes, for giving me nudges and pushes, and let me know that I can do better, and I can do it,
Mhm.
and to break me out a little bit of my shyness because I am shy, you know, but but you've helped me to come out of that shyness,
Oh,
a
thank
bit.
you.
Yeah. So I give you flowers for that reason and for loving me the way you do.
Oh.
Absolutely, for sure. And also, I know a lot of times, of course, people don't know my niece, but I like to give flowers to my niece, and her name is Yolanda, aka Yo Yo, because
You can't mess with my yo-yo.
my yo yo, that's my yo yo, that's my yo yo.
Go ahead. Let him know why.
She has a humongous heart, and that is my older sister's daughter, and she has taken on the caregiver of my sister, who is mentally challenged, and she has taken care of her for years, knowing that I still had to work and at the time take care of my younger kids and everything like that, and she stepped up to the plate, and um she has done it, and she's growing in her life and maturing in her life, and she's just like, that's my heart, and I have to give her flowers for
That's dope.
her.
That's
Hmm.
dope. That's dope.
Hmm.
Thank you, babe. Well, I of course, have the same sentiment where it comes to you. Thank you for sticking and staying. You know, I gave you every reason in the beginning why you should and could have, ran away,
Hmm.
because I don't believe in taking away people's choices. So, but thank you for sticking and staying. And as
Absolutely.
often as I can, um, buy you flowers, I'm going to give them to you.
And you too. And you too. And so appreciated, And but that was that's one of the one things that I do love about you, that you did not take my choices away.
Mhm.
You was straight up, and but I saw more in you that maybe at that time you didn't see. You know, I saw the person you was. I saw your heart. Oh, yes,
Look,
I
y'all
did.
got me
You
over here
did.
just I'm about to cry.
I got
I'm
one
just
more
over
person
here
though.
like, oh
I got one
yes.
more person I have to give flowers to. Well, we embarked upon this journey to come down here to a whole nother state
Hmm.
back in 2022. Um and I have a best friend who has become her big sister.
My big sis,
My
yes.
Kathy Giles. I mean, my Kathy Giles is another Kathy.
Hmm.
Um I'm not gonna give her last name. I'm gonna call her Katie B, and you know who you are. And your roommate, partner, sister, whatever you want to call her. Um, Thank you. I love you guys tremendously, and you're always there for us, not just me, but for us. And I am just so grateful that we came together, and we are, we're fearless here in the big DE. And without you guys, I don't know where I would be. From left to right to up to down. When we show up, we show up. And when y'all show up, y'all show up. And I'm just so grateful that God placed you and kept you. 24 years. She's been in my life 24 years. And Big C's been in my life since 2014, 10 years. And 11 years. And I love you guys tremendously, wholeheartedly and unconditionally. And I am so grateful for the connection. I'm so grateful for the time of getting me through the grief. I'm so grateful for coming up and sparing my life from the throes of addiction. I love you, and I thank God for you. May He continue to bless you abundantly, exceedingly abundantly. And get my flowers.
Yes, I love it. I love it. I love it. It's been such an honor and a pleasure to have you both on my platform tonight. I could not let this moment pass. I haven't been doing my podcast, of course. But I would not. Yeah, look, come on, Auntie. Come on.
She's
But I
the
just
visionary
refuse
author of
to
this
let.
one. That one right there. She's the visionary author of this one. Hit the book
But I
cover on
just
that one.
refuse to come on now. Look.
Don't play with me. Don't play. Pray with me. Don't play with me.
And they gotta wait on the other one.
There you go.
Yes.
There you go.
It's coming. It's about done. It's coming.
Yes, but I just could not pass up this opportunity to have you guys on the platform. I was like, I'll come out of retirement for this one, but I'm just grateful. I'm grateful and honored. And I had so much fun tonight with you guys. I really did.
Yes, I
And
did.
this will not be the last one because AT says gonna write another book.
Okay, now.
Oh, it's almost done. Okay, I think I got about 7 more chapters.
Auntie says.
Oh, this one.
Yeah.
Oh, you writing another one?
Yeah.
Oh, what's your bad self there? Shoot. I'll edit it for you.
I'm
editing. Yes.
It's such
it was
a
an awesome.
pleasure.
Look, my other sister, she like awesome podcast. Thank you, Sissy. It was.
Thank you.
Thank you.
God is good.
Yes, indeed.
Well, it's been amazing, and thank you all for tuning in to Let's Talk Grief. This has been a phenomenal show. It won't be the last, so stay tuned, and we'll see you on the other side.
All right, now make sure you drop that book up in there. The title of the book is Echoes of Affection, Tales of a Human Connection.
Tales of a Human Connection.
It is available on.
Why don't you get in the comments and drop the link for them to purchase the book? All right.